back to my channel. If it's the first time stopping by, you're so welcome. Welcome to the Nana Nation. And if you're a returning subscriber, what it is, I was got you in the. So today I am back, and today's video is my updated foundation routine. I have tried this foundation routine about twice now. This is my third time trying it, and I notice every time I try it, like, my skin is actually looking pink. Like, what you trying to tell me? Keep watching. Trust me, you won't forget it. You won't forget it. And before you actually even go on to the next slide, just do me a quick favor. Just subscribe. It's free. Yes, it's free. So we are going to get started with today's tutorial. So what I like to do before I start my foundation, before I even prep or prime, I go in with a setting mist. Setting mist, setting spray, prep and prime, whatever it is you want to call it. I start off with that. So I'm just gonna spray my face up. I'm using the Juvia's Place foundation. This is the I Am Magic Velvet Matte Foundation, which is what we love. Matte. All things matte is a vibe. So I'm using the shade 140, which is Angola. I actually did a review on this foundation, so if you haven't seen it, go check it out. So with this, I just like, a little goes a very long way with this foundation, which is one thing I've actually like come to notice. So when I put foundation on, I normally like to just put it like on the four corners of my face, because I know that's where I'm going to like need coverage the most. So I'm gonna go in with my Bebe foundation brush, and then I'm just gonna now. One thing I notice about this whole technique is that your foundation tends to last a little longer, especially if you have very oily skin, because the thing is now you're just packing on a whole bunch of like product, so it definitely cleans out the skin. I mean, keeps your skin matte. Like, I probably only have to like do 1 or 2 touch-ups for the day, and like I'm cool. Like, I don't need to like go in with like 2 extra touch-ups during the day. Depends. Oh, okay, it will depend on how the weather's looking like, but I don't necessarily have to go in with so many touch-ups. So okay, that's it for foundation. So now we're going to go in with our concealer. And the concealers that I like to use, I use about 3 or 4 different kind of concealers, and I'm going to show you guys how I place them. So I'm going to go in with the LA Girl Pro Concealer, and this is in the shade Fawn. So this is quite a lot actually. So what I do is, this one I use firstly because it brightens up my under eye a lot. So I just tend to like put a dip on this side because it's way too much, and I just put it under. Then I'm going to go in with my Fenty Beauty concealer. This is in the shade 430. So I'm going to take a little bit of this. I don't like to use a lot, and I'm going to place this under here. They kind of, the shades are kind of similar, but they're actually not. This shade is more on the golden side, golden tone side, and this is more on like the yellow tone side. I still use the same foundation, I mean concealer, and then I go under the cheekbone and on my forehead as well. Forehead gang, 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 gang. So what I do with this particular shade, with this particular cream palette, contour cream palette, this is the only shade I go for, which is the darkest one. I'm sure you guys can see it's literally all done because your girl scraped it all off. So what I do is I take a brush. This is a blending brush. Yeah, so I just take my blending brush. Don't worry, I've got more. So with the darkest shade, I then go in and I use it to contour. And I use an upward motion. You guys can see it's right there. Then I go to the other side and I do the exact same thing. Well, it's actually finishing, guys. I've been using this technique for a while now, and I am loving it. Okay, that's about it. It's finished now, so I have to get more. And then on my nose, I lightly use it and I lightly contour. With the iconic London setting spray, all I'm just going to do is I spray directly onto my face. I don't spray out, I spray it directly onto my face. So with a very damp beauty blender, we're then going to go in and start blending everything out. The concealers do tend to dry out, but we use setting it with some setting spray, it actually fixes everything. And with a damp beauty blender as well, it just blends out so well, so well. And one thing I noticed, using a few different colors for a concealer actually does help. Like, I've got a whole bunch of concealers that I just use, but I started noticing after watching that whole technique in the whole video, it honestly fixed things up for me a lot. Like, this is the method I use whenever like I'm putting on makeup. Unless it's a regular quick day, I just put on a quick foundation and like, or if I'm not putting on makeup, I just use the Iconic setting spray after a good like cleansing and the whole shebang on my skin, morning or nighttime skin routine. Or if it's during the day, I step out and that's what I'm going to use. And using a damp beauty blender also like helps a whole lot. And now we're going to go in over the dark contour. And remember, with this, we're brushing it in an upward motion. We're not just, we're going to brush it upwards. So that way it looks all blended in, because now you don't want to have like a complete sharp contour. That just doesn't look too cute. So we're going to go over the nose a little bit. So for setting powder, I mix two different setting powders together. So I mix my Fenty Beauty Instant Retouch setting powder in the shade Nutmeg, and then I mix my Makeup Revolution setting powder in the shade Banana. So do you guys see how perfectly this powder like blends in with my skin tone? Like, it just works magic. And they're both very like mattifying as well, which is one thing I love about the two. So I have got very oily skin, so it ends up like mattifying my skin so well. So I put a little bit under my nose as well, on my smile line, because you know your girl likes to smile too much, so I end up like looking crazy with my smile line. But honestly, my smile line doesn't go anywhere regardless of how much priming I'm going to do, how much blending I'm going to do. Like, my smile line, she's there. She always reminds me that she's there no matter what. Good. So next thing, what we're gonna do is I go in from here and I bring it all the way to my lip. So now we're just going to slightly go in with the Black Radiance True Complexion Contour Palette. And we're going to go in with this shade, which is the bronzing shade. And for that, I like to use my Real Techniques brush. This is the 400 blending brush. I think it's a powder brush. But I like to use this brush to like normally set my contour and also just like blend. I use this shade more as a bronzer than I would normally use it as a contour. So we're just gonna lightly go over that contour and just warm up the face a little bit. So that way all it's doing is literally just warming up my face. Okay, so the lashes that I used were the Nana Luxury lashes in the design Hello High. So now we're gonna go in with the lips. La 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 la. So to line my lips, this is what I actually do, because I don't have a lip liner. So what I use is the NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream, and this is the shade Berlin. So this is what I do this is the shade I use to line my lips, and I go in with like a lighter shade or lighter lipstick, if I could say. Speaking of MAC, so I'm going to be going in with the MAC matte lipstick. This is in the shade Kinda Sexy. I've had this for like years, guys. I love this lipstick shade. Oh my god, especially if you want to do like a nude lip, this is your go-to. So I'm just gonna pop it right in the middle. So we're gonna end up going in with our Fenty Beauty lip stunner, and we're just going to line the lips again because I'm not really pleased with the shade and how it came out. Yeah, this is the one I need to use. I definitely want to try new lip colors, but sometimes whenever I think of it, and I don't know, trying out different lip colors, honestly, I think it just scares me. I'm really used to having like a nude lip because that's like my go-to with every look. Like if I'm wearing a bright lipstick, it means that day I was brave. Like I was just brave. But so there, guys, we finally have it. So this is my new updated foundation routine. I wouldn't say I necessarily use this routine every day. Unless like I have something serious happening, then I'll do it. But if I'm going out or it's a shoot or whatever, this is my normal foundation routine that I'll use. And this method honestly helps my foundation stay on longer. I find that I'm not really going back in with a beauty blender as often as I need to, because I've got really oily skin, so I find that I'm only using my beauty blender like once, and it's just like whoa. Until next time, guys, remember, do stay safe. Until next time, bye.
We got about 3 hours, leave your phone alone. He be guessing what goes down when we be all alone.
Million phone light every time you go live on stage.